Hello and welcome to the reunion of the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, Season 10, Part 3. This is it, folks. Anything anyone wants to say, at least in the context of bravo, 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 this is their time to get it out. All right. We start out with Denise saying that when Brandi found out that she was going on the show, Brandi was very eager to text, and I guess, I don't know how much they spoke, but very, very eager to give Denise all the tea on the ladies. And that it was at that time where she really talked a lot of smack about everybody. Because she was like, oh, you're going in the show, you need to know that Teddy's this, and Kyle's this, and, you know, all these things. So, Andy is so clearly on the side of the bitches. I mean, specifically, he's so linked with Rinna. Folks, no matter how much you dislike her, do not expect Rinna to go anywhere unless Andy Cohen decides that he wants to spend more time with his baby Ben and decides to quit or retire. Rinna's going to be there, I think, as long as Andy Cohen is going to be there, because they have some kind of pact. It could just be, you know, friendship. But anyway, he apparently loves what she brings to the show because she keeps getting rewarded, which is, I think, incredibly bad judgment on Andy's part, because I think that Rinna's actions above all else are turning people away from the show. They're turning people off. So, all right. So anyway, Andy says, because he's so clearly on the side of the Inquisition, the Spanish Inquisition, Andy says to Denise, but Brandi was so specific about everything that night. She was so specific, as if she had rattled off every detail of everything that had happened and everything about the house, that it was burned on her memory. No, she wasn't. Brandi was just like, you know, oh, she was up in the loft, the kids were downstairs, she wanted me to come up into the loft. The door was open, or there was no door, so I didn't feel comfortable, it wasn't private. I mean, nothing that she said screams out, oh, I was definitely there, I'm definitely telling the truth, I can't possibly just be saying these things. So there's no reason for Andy to say that, other than to kind of boost up this thing that, oh yeah, this happened, and, you know, my ladies, Kyle, Rinna, Erica, they all need to be vindicated here. I don't like that. I don't like it when Andy clearly takes sides, but he's gone way beyond that now. He's been doing that. He's been doing that for a little while. But his love of Rinna, his inexplicable love of Rinna is bizarre. I guess from he loves a bitchy queen. I don't know, but I don't understand it. Okay, yeah, I mean, I wrote, it's not like she gave the phone number and the address of the house and said that the maid was there and that the maid filmed her and she has photo. It's not enough. What she said about her horrible night that Kim prodded her into having to share painfully to Kyle and Teddy. It was awful, the night that Denise Richards raped me. Please, this is ridiculous. Okay. Denise says that Aaron was in the house the whole time. She doesn't have an open marriage. She's not going to do something with her husband in the house, which is something that could be, that's something that could be verified. And I think that would be an important point. I don't think that, God, who would want to see Brandi doing anything? So I don't think it would be like he was there wanting to watch for salacious reasons. No, she said they don't have an open marriage. And Brandi did not say, oh, we had a threesome. No, she said she blanked Denise's blank. So, you know. All right. Just when I think I can't get more frustrated about everyone other than Dorit and Garcelle and Sutton going in hard on Denise, Sutton does something which makes me completely dislike her. Sutton, you are no longer my girl. You weren't my girl really before, but I don't want you on the show now. Because what you did was so cheesy and felt like the desperate girl who wanted to be, popular with the cool kids, to get in with the cool kids. Sutton says something that made me just want to go pound my head on the wall. It was just so wrong. It was so wrong of her to say. It was so wrong of her to do. And bye, Sutton. So she announces, Denise, I didn't know you in 2018, but someone who is one person removed from Brandi. Okay, does she know what that means? I think she's an intelligent woman. She said one person removed. You understand that one person removed would be like this. You have someone who's close to Brandi. Let's say her sister. That person is Brandi's close relative or friend. And then her sister's hairdresser would be one person removed from Brandi. There's no reason to phrase it that way. You would just say someone close to Brandi told me. The fact that she said someone who was one person removed from Brandi completely implies, or pretty much states, and again, Sutton is, I think, too smart to make a mistake in this regard. She's listening to, like I said, what, Brandi's sister's hairdresser, Brandi's hairdresser's sister, Brandi's pet groomer's husband. This is now getting completely ridiculous. And here's the point of it. Sutton says that this person who was one person removed from Brandi, so not a close personal source at all, did tell me that this was going on. Like it had been going on since 2018. So it had been going on for like at least a year and a half that Denise and Brandi had been carrying on this torrid affair. But again, please notice that in all the alleged texts, and maybe some of them were real, I think some of them were probably fabricated, which is so easy to do, as we all know. And it drives me crazy, once again, that nowhere does anyone say on the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, do any of the ladies say, does Denise say, she does say that she thinks the texts are faked. She would do herself such a favor if she said, all you have to do is go to the App Store and you can see there's a million apps for creating fake text strings. Why does no one say that? Why does no one else? Please tell me if another recap has brought this up, how easy it is to fake text strings. I was going to fake another one for you tonight. I'll do another one some other time because it's so easy. I was going to fake one between Brandi and Sutton, just like, that's how ridiculous it is. Okay. And there's nothing in all of those texts, if in fact all of these texts are real, which again, I don't think they are. There's nothing about, last night was delicious or whatever. And if there was anything the tiniest bit salacious, even if it was just hinting at something going on, they would have blown it up and put it in yellow highlight. That's what they do. But there's nothing. This is nothing. Okay, so all I have to say is, Sutton, you little bitch, you just lost a whole bunch of supporters. I don't like you. Yeah. That was a big thing that you decided to do. I don't know why you made a decision to come out with this. You almost made it all the way through the season, keeping your hands clean. And now you think, what? Yeah, this is gonna boost you up and make sure that you are under the protection of Lisa Rinna. Ew, you don't need this. You have money. What are you doing? So I'm very, very disappointed in her. Ugh. Okay, bad move. Oh God, asshole Rinna has printed out all of Denise's text threads. That is the ones that she was given from Brandi. So it could be faked, could be added to, we don't know. But she's holding them up in her hands like, oh my God, this is it. This is the smoking gun. And we already know it's not. It doesn't matter. You can hold them up all you want. There's nothing in there that's big enough for Bravo not to have shared with us. If there was anything in there that was really big, Bravo would have blown it up and put it in yellow highlighting. Okay, so there's nothing there. You can hold that up all day. You just look like a freaking idiot. You look like you're obsessed with Denise, and you look like a bitch, which you are. Okay, I just want to say something. Lisa Rinna, your mom must be so proud of you. She must be so proud of you. Look what you have made of your career. I mean, I guess, if you don't have real talent, you have to chase fame in other ways. And many, many people in our society right now have made a great deal of fame and a great deal of money off of just being horrible and not having a tiny stitch of talent. So, all right. Then Denise says, hey, Rinna, how would you like it if I showed some of your texts to me? Rinna, are you threatening me? Are you threatening me? No, she's saying she will do that if you keep showing, or if you want to pay attention to everything that's in these texts, that she has some shit on you. So you should just shut up. Remember, while Brandi and Denise, I do not believe, were close friends, Rinna and Denise were close friends for a good 20 years. So I'm sure there are some texts from Rinna to her dear friend whom she stabbed in the back. I'm sure there are some texts, personal texts, thoughts of problems in her life, in her home life, whatever. Her sexual history, I don't know, whatever. Things girlfriends share. Folks, don't share them on texts. Don't share anything that you don't want shown to the world in a text or an email. Have we not all learned that? Have we not all learned? It's like the murderers who, I watch a lot of murder mysteries, real life murder mysteries. And it's always unbelievable to me the way the wife who kills her husband by putting antifreeze in his coffee is online in her search history looking up how to poison husband, best way to poison husband, best way, how much antifreeze. I mean, all these things. Because even though you delete everything, remember, this, you've all seen enough dramas, you've all seen enough crime stories. You know that forensics can take hard drives and they can pull deleted information up. So don't write things down. Also, don't take photos you later don't want people to see. Don't send dick pics that you don't want the whole world to end up seeing. Don't send, if you're a woman, don't send naked pictures you don't want the world to see. Back to the Rinna-Denise threatening match. Denise is willing to put her text messages with Rinna up against Rinna's collection of text messages that are allegedly from Brandi to Denise. And suddenly Rinna says she gets really upset when Denise suggests that. Oh yeah, let's swap it out. I'll show your text to me. You can show the text between Brandi and I. And Lisa Rinna says, those are private. Those are private. Really? Interesting. So these kind of things are private, are they? I thought everyone was supposed to be open and honest and own it. Okay. Now we see the scene from Amsterdam where Kim Richards threatens to reveal things about Harry Hamlin. Now, during that scene, watch very carefully. Go back and watch it again and look very carefully, and you will see, I actually watched it in slow motion. You can actually see that when Kim threatens to reveal things about Lisa's husband, Rinna's hand goes straight to Kim's throat. That's not an I'm going to slap you or I'm going to shove you. That's a I'm reaching for your throat because I'm so livid and I'm so threatened and cornered like a wild beast that I want to choke the life out of you. And then she kind of pulls herself back and she's so full of rage that she smashes that wine glass on the table and just goes completely wild. Yeah, that's a reaction of someone who thinks there's absolutely nothing going on with her husband. It's a perfectly normal reaction. If someone came in here right now and said, you know, your husband is sleeping with, you know, a blonde girl from Iceland, I wouldn't be like, don't you talk about my husband that way. Yeah. I would be like, I don't know what you're talking about. You know, I'm not really interested. Rinna's reaction is everything. I'll say it again. Her reaction there is everything. Okay. And even there in the show, in this reunion, in part 3 of the reunion, Rinna says words to the effect of, yeah, I wanted to strangle her. That's how angry she was. Oh, Rinna, you're so angry. All right. And now after we've seen all that, she has the guts to say that, yeah, well, there was no truth to it. There was no truth to it. Yeah, that's exactly how people react. Maybe there is no truth to it, but I believe there was a rumor out there at least that she was familiar with, and that's why she reacted the way she did. I'm not saying anything did or did not happen, but I'm saying there was clearly some rumor out there somewhere, or some suspicion in her mind. Lisa is a crazy bitch, and she is selfish, and she's a narcissist, and she's got such a laundry list of problems and reasons why she annoys the crap out of me. But I don't think she's a rager. I don't think she's someone that would normally get that angry over something that had absolutely no basis in reality, allegedly. Okay. Garcelle says to Rinna, I'm going to miss Garcelle. Garcelle, I'm going to miss you. You brought so much kind of equilibrium to the show. You brought a nice, even, non-judgmental, kind of observational tone to the show that we so sorely need. But I kept saying to myself, there's no way this woman can stay on this show. This is not who she is. This show is not for Garcelle. I kept saying that to myself when I was watching this season. I still hoped that maybe she would stay, but she doesn't belong there. Okay. So Garcelle says to Rinna, why do you care? Well, Garcelle, she's a fame whore. And fame whores have no talent to fall back on. Like you, Garcelle, have actual talent. She has nothing. She has her marriage to Harry Hamlin. She has whatever job she's been able to scrape up since the end of her soap opera career. And she does a great job. She's a hustler, like she says. She really is. She finds lots and lots of reasons to get her face in front of the camera. Even before she was on Real Housewives. And now that she's on the Real Housewives, she's clinging to this for dear life. So don't threaten her position on the show. All right. And then Lisa says, you know, if Denise and I were such good friends, she could have come to me. I would have listened to her. She could have come to me with this. And Garcelle goes, what? I loved Garcelle's what, because that was the same what that was going on in my head. Yeah, she should have definitely come to you. She should come to you with everything, because you're the perfect person to talk to. All right. So other than Garcelle, obviously Denise, and Dorit, the other bitches, and now including Sutton apparently, although she didn't say I'm absolutely convinced that this happened, but why would she say that? You stupid idiot. Now you've jeopardized your place on the show. I don't know, like I said, maybe Rinna is calling the shots and Andy and Rinna are calling the shots, and now that you've pleased the goddess that is Rinna, maybe that will make you, either a friend of again next year or give you a diamond. Who knows how it works, but I just think it was so stupid of her to say that, because now her popularity is just, she picked the wrong team or the right team. If you look at it that the goal is just to stay on the show, that if your goal is just to stay on the show and you don't care how many people hate you and are sending you hate messages, that I don't advocate, don't ever send hate messages to people, but people that are putting things out there that are very negative about you, that's not the team you want to be with. Yeah, so like I said, they just will not admit the possibility that this maybe did not happen. They're just so sure that it happened. They are so sure, as if they were standing in a semicircle around the bed watching it happen. Yeah. Well, and at this point, they have to stick with it, because guess what? They've gone so far, the witches have gone so far, that if it turns out they're definitively proven wrong, oh, they look like monsters. Which they are anyway. So, all right, now we see, you all know that Erica has also lost me this season. She's turned into this cold, kind of snake-eyed, mean, judgmental person who was not there before. I don't know what happened to change her. I don't know if the show has become so important to her that she's like, I've got to be on the right, I've got to pick the right team, and the right team is Team Rinna and Kyle, because Team Rinna and Kyle equals Team Andy. I don't know. I don't understand why the change in her happened, but the change in her happened, and you can see it in her eyes. Or maybe she always was just this mean bitch. You know how they always tried to make it sound like, and I've said this before, oh, she puts out this cold exterior, but she's got a heart of gold. No, I think she's got a cold exterior, and I think her interior is made of colder material. She's ice on the outside and dry ice on the inside. Okay. But we do see something about Erica and Tom that is very sweet. It's when she finds out that she got the part in Chicago, that she's going to be playing Roxy Hart in Chicago, and he reaches across the table and takes her hand, and he says, I am so proud of you, and she starts crying. That makes me believe in them as a couple. That was very real. That was a very real moment. We haven't had a lot of real moments this season. Season 10 has not been noted for its real moments, but that was real. She really does look up to him. She really does want to seek his approval, I think. She says that, they have another clip where I think she's talking to Garcelle, and she's saying one of the things that I loved about him right away was that he was so good to my son. He took my son in. And we see a photo of Erica and Tom and her son, and it's really recent. It's only 6 years ago. It's 2014. But Erica looks really fresh and young, and she's not really all painted up. There's no glam squad. I mean, she's not even dressed very stylishly, but she's with Tom and her son. And you ask yourself, wow, I mean, is that what too much money and fame and people fawning over you does to you? In only 6 years? Because the woman in the photo and the woman here giving snake eyes at the camera, they're not the same girl. I know I should say woman, but they're not the same girl. So now the witches are going to try to attack the outsiders in a different way. Now they're going to go for, Garcelle and Denise. We thought that you were such supporters of other women's work and such supporters of women's empowerment, and yet neither one of you came to New York to see Erica on Broadway. First of all, Denise was in the middle of this whole cease and desist thing. Her relationship with Bravo, after she found out that they were still going to go ahead and probably air all this stuff, that she asked them not to air any of the scenes of Brandi telling her stories. Why would she want to go hang out with these ladies? Why would she want to sit on a private plane for 5 hours with Rinna and Teddy and Kyle? No, I'm not at all surprised she didn't go. And it has nothing to do with her not being supportive of women. It has to do with the fact that Erica did not treat her well, and you guys did not treat her well, and maybe she doesn't feel like celebrating Erica. There's nothing wrong with that. It's her choice. Then they go after Garcelle. Lisa, because Garcelle has thrown some jabs at Lisa, now Lisa has to go, and why didn't you come, Garcelle? Garcelle says that one of the reasons why she didn't come is that she has a real terror of small planes. When she was a model, she used to have to fly in small planes, and she had some very bad experiences. I guess she had some close calls, so she really avoids them at all cost. And they will not let it go. Teddy says, well, Dorit was in Mexico, and she flew a commercial to come up to New York to see the show with us. Why couldn't you have flown commercial? And then Garcelle is like, inside she's thinking, really, bitches? She's like, yeah, I was tied up. I had another engagement. I couldn't make it. And they just don't want to let it go. And then another little proof positive moment that Sutton is now clearly the lapdog of the bitches is that Sutton chimes in, good point, Teddy, meaning Teddy's point about Dorit flying from Mexico commercial, that Garcelle could have flown commercial from LA. All right, so of course everybody other than Denise and Dorit have now turned against Garcelle, which must be a nice little break for a moment for Denise. That's all I can say. All right, now to Aaron, which I think is not that interesting. I don't find Aaron interesting at all. He's weird. He has weird beliefs, but he does seem to stand behind his wife. We are all very concerned about him walking away and saying, don't say another word or I'll crush your hand. And that is disturbing. And Denise says she does not remember him saying that. And she said, I'm surprised that he did because he usually acts like he's afraid of me. Well, physically, no, he wouldn't be afraid of you. And him saying that when he's a little bit off kilter is concerning. But again, that's one little moment. So we can't take that and build it into he's a wife beater, Anyway. And Sutton chimes in, zero tolerance. Well, I agree. Yeah, zero tolerance for spousal abuse. Who's not going to say that? Yeah, that's kind of an easy one. But yeah, none of the ladies were thrilled with that moment. Denise wasn't thrilled with that moment when she found out about it. Fair enough. Okay, now we go over the glam. And no contest, of course, Dorit was the winner of this season. She's been taking some shade for her hairstyle with the kind of asymmetrical braids, but she shows it. I liked it. I didn't like it at first, and then it grew on me. But actually at first I was kind of like, I'm not sure about that. But when you see it from the side and then you see it from the back, it's really quite stunning. It's a sort of classical Greece. It's very, very interesting. I actually like it. I think it goes with what she's wearing with the, with the little metal discs. She calls it chainmail. That's not chainmail. It's like little chrome discs that are kind of fused together. All right. Now Andy brings up Denise and Rinna's friendship and how it imploded and how Rinna betrayed Denise in Rome. And Andy asks Denise, how do you think Rinna has changed? And Denise is like, you know what? I can't answer this without getting something to eat. So she gets out of her chair and they're like, oh, is she leaving? Is she walking off? Is that it? And yeah, she is tired of being treated like shit by the witches, and she knows that whatever answer she gives to this question, how has Rinna changed in the past, the time that you've known her, they're going to jump on her again. And I think she's just getting tired of it. She's getting really, really tired of it. She seems kind of emotionally spent at this point. Okay, she decides, though, that she will come back and sit down, but she sits down with her scripts. She's going, I guess, to film or to practice, and her shoes. She's taken off her shoes and she's holding her shoes. So obviously she's sitting down, but she looks like at any moment she's gonna run. So, and I don't blame her. So then Andy asks Lisa, what was the turning point for you? And of course Lisa says, seeing all those text messages. I'm not going over this again, folks. Rinna says that now, looking back at everything, she wishes Denise were not on the show. That she brought her on thinking she was going to be a fun addition, but she really wishes she did not ask her to be on the show. I mean, obviously it wasn't for her to ask her, but she suggested her. And that's another lie, Rinna, because Denise has given you a plot line. She's given you something to crusade about. She's given you something to get outraged and horrified and, oh my goodness, and clutch at your pearls over her horrible misdeeds with Brandi, allegedly. Rinna insinuates that Denise is a terrible friend, that she's been a terrible friend to Lisa because she didn't tell her the truth, and that she was a terrible friend to Heather Locklear. Okay, those of you who are younger, Lisa Rinna and Heather Locklear were together on Melrose Place, which was a long-running kind of nighttime soap opera. It was very popular in the 90s. And not sure how close Rinna and Heather Locklear were. I'm sure they were friends or friendly. But anyway, I don't know what on earth she means by insinuating that Denise was a shitty friend to Heather Locklear, because Denise was like, oh my God, this is happening again. I was never friends with Heather Locklear. And I was kind of looking again, if there's any proof that these two were thick as thieves and hanging out all the time. No, not really. Obviously they had some things in common, but no. They knew each other, yeah, but they weren't like close friends to the point where Lisa Rinna could say, you were a terrible friend to me, and you were a terrible friend to Heather Locklear, and you were an even worse friend to Michelle Obama. What is she doing? I don't know what she's doing. Okay. Dorit, she has always been a defender of Denise. She said this has been really hard for her because she says, I adore Rinna. And I wish she wouldn't say that, but I guess Dorit wants to keep her place on the show too. Because even though she can sit there right now in this moment and say, I adore Rinna, her actions and words and behavior have shown that she has not been impressed with Lisa Rinna this season. And actions speak louder than words. Okay, Denise is now crying. She's crying. And she's basically like, yeah, there's nowhere to go from here. So on this very sad note that reminds us all of the kind of damage that words can do, and how careful you need to be. I mean, I might sit here in my recaps and say, I can't stand this person. This person is acting like a narcissist, allegedly. This person's acting like a sociopath, allegedly. This person's a bitch, allegedly. These are just my impressions. I am a viewer like you. Okay, Sutton leaves. Bye. Bye, Sutton. I can't stand you now. Hope you don't come back next year, but you probably are. Denise's last words are, I just feel like these women do not want to move forward. And she is absolutely right. No need for you to ever see them again, Denise. And God willing, you will only see, maybe Dorit and Garcelle, and you don't have to see the others ever again. Teddy said she felt like she was very present. because she wasn't drinking all season, so she was really observing everything. Yeah, and you came up with some great points. Oh, and you being sober made you even more interesting, Teddy. Why are you on the show? Why are you on the show, Teddy? Can you give me a very, very short 250-word essay on why I should be on the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills? Because you bring nothing. Garcelle said she feels like the show did not turn out well for her, and that's why she's not coming back. Erica said, I had fun. Yeah, being a bitch. Andy reminds us that we have ended other years very badly and somehow things have come back together again. Okay, that's wishful thinking, but in this case, you're talking about Lisa Rinna. How is that going to change for the better? Oh, and then Rinna's last words are, I'm a truth teller. She's a... Yes, absolutely. Yes, you are the voice of reason and the voice of truth, Lisa Rinna. Oh my God. And you can add to that, I'm delusional. Okay, so, I just realized, because he brings it up, that Kyle is the only original cast member. I know we all know that. I knew that. We all knew that. But it just kind of struck me. I hadn't thought about it for a while, that she's the only one still there from the first season. And I wouldn't have necessarily guessed that she would be the one who was still there in season 10. And I'm sure she's going to be there in season 11 too, unfortunately. Denise is so uncomfortable during all this. By the way, she's sitting there, she's got tears in her eyes, and she's playing with her hands, she's playing with her fingers. I feel so bad for her. She did not deserve this. She did not deserve any of this. I'm glad she's moving on. Just, girl, move on and never look back. I think she's gained a lot of new fans because of this. I really do. I think she's found a lot of support. So, good for her. All right, they raise a glass to season 10. Dorit has a Gucci glass with Gucci ice cubes in it. And Sutton says, may the only pain in your life be champagne, which I think is cute. So on that note, thank you very much for joining me. I love having you here. This was quite a reunion. So again, please your comments are uplifting and wonderful. You would do me a very great favor if you would my husband bought me a purse.
Your husband bought you a purse because he loves you.
My husband said he bought me a purse because he loves me. Oh, it's beautiful. He's the ghost hand, but one day I'm going to get him on camera. So anyway, thank you. Oh my God, I love that color. Okay, so so please press the red subscription button and ring that bell if you want to be notified every time I make an upload. I create content pretty regularly, and I am getting slowly caught up. I'm still a little behind, but I'm getting there. So I want you to take very, very good care of yourselves. I just found out that my mother-in-law, who is in Aspen, which would seem like such a safe space where she's been quarantining with her husband. She is in her mid-80s and her husband's in his early 90s, but they're strong. My mother-in-law has Miss Rona, because I'm not allowed to say the word. So if you want to throw out some prayers, that would be very much appreciated. So far she's feeling fairly strong, and she is a strong woman. My husband's mother and my mother are very, very strong women. something they have in common. So anyway, your prayers are appreciated. Speaking of prayers, Lashana Tova, it is Rosh Hashanah. It's the Jewish New Year. So welcome to the year 5781. And remember, if you don't want to wait all the way until January 1st, you can say officially today, oh, thank God that year was over. You can move on with the new year. So, all right, my friends, I'll see you very soon. Love having you join me. I want you to be good, but not too good. Bye. Love you.